I want to drill down on one thing about what you said, because you talked about like bringing these folks on and divvying up the equity up front. And if I'm a founder starting something and I'm looking to recruit co-founders, where do you think it makes sense for me to start? Is it like, I want to retain this, so this is my budget for founders? Is it more like, I think I'm going to need to give them this much for them to be willing to join? What's the right starting place for how much you might share with a co-founder? And then Lindsay, I'll hand that question to you as well.
Yeah, it really boils down to can you build without that co-founder, and how much of the build journey gets shortened, because by definition, if you're building a startup, you want to build something and you want to build it fast. That's a definition of a startup, especially if you're not starting a business, you're a startup. And the way I differentiate between the two is how fast are you planning to grow. And therefore the criteria in our case was, can we build without this person, and then does the person have the passion and the obsession to see through this journey for a long time. And this is documented. Average time to IPO is 10, 12 years now, and time to exits in the part of the world where we started building was 14, 15 years. And if that's what it takes to build a large business, this is as long as, this is the closest metaphor is a marriage. And therefore you have to find a person who's willing to go the entire distance with you. And so that was the definition of a co-founder. And can I use the journey significantly shortened, and then have that conversation saying, this is what I bring to the table, this is what I plan to build, this is what role I expect you to play, and this is how we split the equity. And so that's not an easy conversation. There's no right answer at that point in time when you're having the conversation. It's only right or wrong in hindsight. But we said, we'll take this call and then we'll stick with it. You can't get it numerically right perfectly, but the principles and the philosophy with which you divided that equity, and that's how that conversation plays out. Question is, actually, it's a more important question for if that co-founder is a co-founder or not. And then if it is the right co-founder, you will figure out a way to have that conversation on the split of equity, and also signaling in terms of who is going to, from a VCs and investors perspective, who's calling the shots, what's the dynamic between the three, or in our case, three co-founders or two co-founders, who takes the decisions, what happens if there's a deadlock. All of those had to be addressed while raising future rounds.